Alright, so this is going to be a spoiler review for the movie The Belko Experiment. I didn't really want to watch this movie, but I found out that James Gunn wrote it, so I was like, okay, why not? So Matt Donato of We Got This Covered calls this Office Space meets Battle Royale. So this is about American employees working in Colombia. They work for Belko. And during this workday, they go in and they notice that all the security guards are gone and they're replaced with these heavily armed, different security guys. And they won't let any of the foreign worker, or not the foreign, the locals work. So only the foreign workers are left. And on the intercom, it is announced that they are trapped and they have 30 minutes to kill 2 people, or else they'll suffer consequences. So they start panicking. Everyone goes down to the ground floor where the security guard's confused, and these like metal shutters shut them in and lock them in, and they can't get out. So they're trapped here. They're trying to keep calm. The boss man just keeps saying that, oh, this is probably just a prank, you know, just take it easy. And they basically just waste time, and then all of a sudden, 4 employees have their heads explode because the tracker tracer thing that they put in the back of their necks to prevent kidnapping attempts goes off, and we find out that let's call them the voice. The voice basically says that they are basically part of this experiment, and they have to do what the voice says, or else the voice will blow up their heads. So James Gunn would later explore this in the movie The Suicide Squad. But this is almost like an early prototype of that. So all the characters are now screaming at each other because they have to kill 30 of their own, or else 60 will die out of maybe 80 or 100. So, you know, factions start forming. The character development isn't very good. You know, we have a couple of characters that we see. We're following the main guy, his girlfriend, his boss. There's a couple other guys in there that seem a little off. There's a lot of just nobodies. There's a lot of, you know, just people there. The movie spends too much time not really doing anything for the first half hour, and we don't get into the full-on mania of the concept of like the brutality till almost an hour into the movie. And but then the movie kicks in overdrive at the end, and it's not that violent. I mean, the head exploding thing is pretty shocking, but it also doesn't make sense because of something. Oh yeah, there's a spoiler review. I can go into it. So basically, the boss man gathers his own group of cronies, and they break into the guns. There's guns there for whatever reason. They break into the lockers to take the guns. There's too many guns because it's for the experiment, and they decide to gather everyone into the ground floor. And using really a juxtaposition of a Spanish cover of a popular song, they decide to kill anyone over 65 who don't have kids, and they try to like do like a execution style thing, but it gets interrupted, and then they lose because only 29 people are killed. So 60 people lose their heads, and then the final game is announced in which whoever has the highest kill will be allowed to live. So the reason why the movie had a beef with me is because no one really goes over an arc. For example, there's this creepy guy who keeps perving on the main character's girlfriend, but that really doesn't pan out to anything really. And people go insane on each other. There's no extreme, you know, betrayals. There's no, you know, character moments that are shocking because it's a very shallow attempt at whatever the theme is. There's no real theme. There's no like, you know, it's not like a trolley problem type of thing. It's more of a, you know, would you be willing to kill other people to save your own skin? And we don't really get that with the main character because he's kind of a bland, vanilla piece of shit. They should have focused on his girlfriend because she was kind of with the group that wanted to kill the people and like kill the 30 to save the rest. But she gets killed immediately. And then we get to the final battle in which, you know, the main character uses office supplies to kill his boss. But they didn't really have much beef either, so it's not really satisfying. It's not like the movie Mayhem, which is a way better version of this. So the Belko Experiment, you know, is a little bit gory. It has some good gore effects, but it's not as extreme as it could have been. It doesn't really have much of a theme. Arcs, you know, no betrayals, no shocking plot moments, no this or that. The ending's pretty dumb too because apparently there are multiple bombs in people's heads, so you can like dig in through the corpse of other people and find bombs, and so the main character does that and he uses them to kill his captors because they're trying to have this crazy experiment thing where they want to push humans to their limits to find out stuff. And then you find out that the Belko experiment is actually one of many throughout the world. And, you know, it doesn't really matter that he survives because, you know, they could have shocked the audience by having someone survive, you know, who you think wouldn't be, you know, able to win. Like, it would have been cool if his girlfriend survived instead, or the boss. But, yeah, the movie's very contrived at the end, especially because the main character, he injured himself trying to take the bomb out earlier in the movie, and then he took a fire extinguisher to the back of the head, so his skull's probably like cracked open. I don't know how he won. Yeah, but overall, the movie is, they try to have this shallow character development of like, I got kids and a wife, I can't die. And it just, yeah, this script is very shallow. It's directed by Greg McLean, who is an Australian horror director. He did some other ones, but yeah, the Belko Experiment just doesn't quite hit any of the right notes. It's not violent or gleefully fun like Mayhem. It's just sort of there. So it's a good effort, though. I like the cast. The cast is doing a great job. I think Tony Goldwyn does a really good job. Everyone else is kind of like lame. Maybe a better cast, and maybe because they kind of waste what's his name? They waste Michael Rooker too. So yeah, the Belko Experiment wasn't that great. I give it a 4 out of 10.